you need to go into your menu, and then after going into your menu, you need to run another, auto calibration. So your gimbal is gonna do its things, and then now after when it finished, that means it's going to adjust on those small things that you missed when calibrating. Hey, what's up guys? In this video we are going to balance the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro on the Ronin RS2, but there's few things that I need to tell you before we start that is going to save you so much time, and I had to try this so you guys don't have to. So the first one, your Ronin comes with a small mounting plate thingy, so you need to make sure that you use the bigger one or the chunkier one, and that is because it's just going to give you more room and elevate the camera on top to just make it easy for you to balance, but that is depending on what lens you are using. Another thing is you have to unscrew the small screw and then put it quite off or to my right to make sure that your camera move the other way around, as I have done here, because the Blackmagic has quite an awkward shape, so that means it's quite heavy this side, but when you move it the other way around, it gives you more room to play with. Also, I'm going to show you here on the Ronin, the way it's designed, you would find it quite difficult sometimes depending what lens you're using, because you can only move it front and back, so you cannot move it the other way around. So that screw being to the side, it kind of give you more room to offset your camera. And the last thing that I would have to say is I found it way easier to balance a bigger lens than this small lens, because so basically this small lens here, it's kind of like you balancing a triangle, so it's heavier that way, heavier this way, it's more heavier this way, less heavy the other way, and then when you put a small lens, it's kind of like become like a triangle, so to find the center of gravity is way hard. But when you have like a longer lens or a bigger lens, I'm going to demonstrate that here on your Ronin RS or on my Ronin RS. So when you put your camera here, right, and then you have the lens all the way here, it can be like front heavy or back heavy, and then you adjust it. Also, the best thing about having a longer lens or a heavier lens, let's say you have the Diesel Picto something, and then your camera is basically going to be here. So what you find is your side camera where you hold on your Blackmagic is not going to hit here on the Ronin, as you're going to see in a second. So those are few things that you kind of have to be careful, or you have to take care of before you balance your camera. Another thing that I have to tell you is that if you prefer your screen to be like out like this or attached close to the camera, make sure you find enough clearance when you put your camera on a gimbal. So as you can see, the gimbal is really unstable, and I'm going to put on the camera and then we are going to start the balancing. But those few things that I've mentioned, those one will save you way more time. Also guys, as you know, your lens or the lens that you are balancing is very different to mine, but the key principle of balancing the gimbal is all the same. But my AC does it way different than me, but anyway, we all have a way that we balance our gimbal. So I usually put the camera on and then focus on each axis, which I'm going to show you guys. So let's do that right now. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm trying to hold the camera, and now I'm going to put the camera on the gimbal or on the RS2. So immediately, like I've mentioned, you can see that it's hitting here, so you have to leave enough room. How you're going to do that, you need to offset your camera to my right, and boom, let's do that. Offset the camera, offset, and I'm just going to leave it there, and I am going to lock it. So now that the camera is locked, I can't really let the camera go because the gimbal is all over the place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the camera to my front or in front, and then again, just make sure you check here and make sure you leave enough room because you don't want your camera to be hitting that side. So I'm going to move it here, and then I'm going to lock it here. And I've not locked the gimbal right now because I'm just trying to find like a better balance before I can start letting my camera go. So now I'm going to move this to like, let's say 5, and then I'm going to try again. I'm going to move it again, you know, like 5.5, and I'm going to try again. As you can see where the gimbal is leaning, meaning we have to adjust this axis as well. So unlock that, move it, unlock that, move it, boom. So now we're starting to get somewhere. Again, move it. No, I'm also going to now let the camera go. So as you can see now, it's all over the place because nothing is balanced, and that's where I usually start. So the first thing that I usually do, I lock each axis and focus on one by one. So I'm going to focus from, you know, up to down. Also here, make sure the camera is very well balanced. So I'm going to lock this here and then focus on just this motion. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to face the camera to you guys so you can see properly. But for now, back heavy, and I'm going to move the camera to my front. So obviously now you saw I left enough space here. So front, still back, front. That's okay. You can see he's leaning like a bit toward the back, but that's fine because I can then move the camera up here and then I can complement that, which is what I'm going to do. Or I might just move the camera down actually. So I'm gonna move the camera down, and then lock it there. So now, as you can see, we actually have a decent, you know, cameras looking up. And one thing that I try to do when I'm balancing the camera, I know my ace is going to be watching this right now, and we do talk about this all the time. So I like to, every time, let's say when I point in that direction, I want my gimbal to stay there. Obviously, you know, now it's not possible, but I'm going to show you guys in a minute. You know, it's almost there because I want the battery to do the smallest or the minimal work as much as it can, so my battery would last way long. So let's continue our balance, and now I'm going to move the camera back again just a little bit, back heavy, just a little bit, still back heavy, and now again just a hair. Oh, that's almost close, but why not? So that's okay for me. So now, as you can see, no, not yet, let's keep going. That's the thing about balancing the camera. Sometimes you think you there. I actually opened the wrong one. I opened that instead of the back and forth. So again, see, that's almost balanced. That's back heavy, just move a hair again. I'm just gonna move again a tiny bit. Front, no, back just a bit. I'm just gonna lock it for now, and then one thing that I try to do is I move it up and then I'll let it go. So that means that is okay, and then I'm going to move it there and then let it go. That again, that's okay for me, and I'm also gonna move it there and then let it go, because when you use the gimbal, let's say you point it in that direction, it's literally doing minimal work as much as it can, so that way you save your battery. So now that this way is balanced, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to lock here and then unlock the other axis and then see what one. So obviously now, as you can see, it's going to that side. So that means I'm moving the tripod to the other way around, and see what one. Now the other way. the other way. Nope. Sometimes it becomes trickier when you're trying to move, you know, the tripod, the gimbal, just you know, to trying to find the balance. So now we kind of have like a decent, you know, I'm just going to unlock here. That's fine-ish, and boom. See, now I just need to fix the 2 more things and we'll be able to go. And that is actually caused by the camera being very way back. I mean, the gimbal being, you know, very front on this side or on this side. So I've just turned it back again. As you can see, it's going that way. So I'm going to adjust the camera and move this axis here to my to where I am. So as you can see, so it's basically like doing that on a gimbal. That's what we're trying to do. Obviously, as you can see, it stayed, but I wanted to do it by itself when I put the camera or when I move the gimbal to that side. So almost there, almost there. I need to move it again. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. So I am going to lock it now. So I think most people, when they balance gimbals, they literally have to leave it like this and turn their camera on. But again, for me, I usually run it up and leave it for a few seconds. That is good. And then point it there, leave it for a few seconds. That's good. Point it there, leave it for a few seconds. That's dope. And then to normal, the way you would usually shoot, and leave it there for a few seconds. And now another thing that I usually do, I try to move my gimbal. I need to lock this axis. I need to lock one axis and just trying to, you know, move my gimbal and see where it's going to fall, you know. So as you can see, it's not really moving that much, and that's what I like my gimbal to be. And now what we're going to do, we are going to unlock our gimbal again here and then try one more time. So okay, see, now what we're going to do is, because we still have more space here, every other axis is better for me, but I really like it to be steady when I leave the camera in every position. So we are going to just offset the camera or bring the camera back right there just a little bit, so we can then finish our last movement, which I've just done right now. And then we're going to try again, and now it's way more heavier to the other side, which I'm going to bring it, you know, to this side again. No, almost there, let's see. So I still have a small tiny space, which is dope. And then I'm going to lock it again. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this way. You know, I think for some people that would be balanced, but for me, like I mentioned, I like my gimbal to be perfectly balanced, because each way you point it, it's literally doing less work. So let's try that again. That is fine. Let's see, that is fine. Point it up, that is fine, and then bring it to that side. And let's try the last one, and almost there. Let's try the other side. See, that side is better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do this other side so we can just finish. So again, I'm just going to move this just a hair, just a tiny. There we go. No, that's too much. Let's see, that's it. So let's see, we're going to move it there. No, see, that's really good. That's really good. No, that means I need to move the camera there a little bit. There we go. So again, I'm going to move the camera back, so the gimbal to that side again. I take some time to balance my gimbal because, you know, a good balance make your battery last way longer. But for some of you guys, you can, if you don't mind that, you can just, you know, turn on your camera and calibrate it. But with me, I have to make sure we are on point. So as you can see now, we are getting there. You know. So that is one axis. So as you can see now, we are fine. So when I leave the camera this way, it stays there. And when I leave the camera that way, it does stay there. There's a small balance, but it does stay there. So this is how, in my own balancing or my own way of balancing, this is the best way to balance the gimbal in my opinion, guys. And I know obviously the internet being the internet, we all balance it different way. So now after you have calibrated your gimbal, and the last thing you really need to do is you need to go into your menu, and then after going into your menu, you need to run another, you know, auto calibration. So your gimbal is going to do its things, and then now after when it finished, that means it's going to adjust on those small things that you missed when calibrating. And when your gimbal have just finished doing that, all you need to do, you need to now touch on your camera and then feel if there's a small micro vibration, or touch on your gimbal again, because if there's any small micro vibration, that means there's something that you did wrong, that you can then go back and adjust again. And the last thing that you need to do again, you need to go back into your gimbal movement, and then you have to do a 360 roll. And then when you do a very good 360 roll, and then if it does it perfectly, that means, my friend, you have balanced your camera and you are ready to go. Because listen, I've seen some day where someone balanced the gimbal very wrong, and what it was doing, the gimbal was shaking so much, and then he almost damaged his camera. So another thing that you need to do is, now you have your USB Type-C to control your camera, and you can just set that up and then go and do your thing. So guys, that's it for today's. If you like this video, please make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell icon so you would not miss when I post a video like this. Now go outside there, shoot some sexy B-roll, and I'll be seeing you later.